Not every day. You put an engine in a truck that the engine weighs more than a truck.
We're gonna have to make it a lot of room that isn't there. And then we gotta make this extra strong to handle all that extra torque. I didn't know you even had a race truck.
Just another bad addiction. This ain't one of them $200,000 builds, you know. We built that from the junkyard.
Might need to take that thing for a little ride.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. You know, the custom truck scene is so big on the north side of Houston. No matter what I need, I need a drive shaft for one of my builds. So I'm gonna go see my old friend David and his son Daniel. They run a little salvage yard amongst all their other little businesses.
Hey, Bill, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Same old thing, hot.
I know, that's right.
Yep.
I came over because I need some.
That's all right. What do you need?
That's what you always tell me, at least.
Yeah. What do you need?
Man, I need a two-piece drive shaft. You know, we always mock up with those things, so.
I have to get them out, but yeah, we got them.
Whether it's their mud trucks or whatever they're interested in at the time, I always like seeing what they're up to. Sometimes I like taking them for a run.
Man, what you got going on here? Oh, that's a little race truck we've been working on.
What's up, Bill?
What's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
Oh, you know, another day.
So you got your little Colorado and just got after it, huh? Man, let me check this thing out.
All right, let's take it down.
The customization comes in all sort of shapes, sizes. This is just a prime example of that, of just taking an old truck, cramming a big engine in it, big turbo, and just seeing how fast it'd go.
What do you think of this, Bill?
A little LS, huh?
Uh-huh. Everybody got to have an LS nowadays.
Yep.
So, you know, we're just trying to get in where we fit in, man.
Yeah, you had to make a little room here for the turbo, I see.
Oh, yeah. Just a little. You know, we still haven't put a hood on it.
You don't need all that. Man, I know y'all been building the big mud trucks, but I didn't know you even had a race truck.
Into the airbags, and I got us into the mudding, and now just another bad addiction.
Something to spend money on?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How quick is this thing?
It does all right. You know, we built this truck to roll. I mean, of course, it's got an 88mm turbo. Oh, yeah. 2-speed power glide. Mm-hmm. Got them fresh Hoosiers on the back, too. Fresh new tires. That has no choice but to go. Hey, it rolls out good. That nitrous works, too. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thing's cool, man. So you got the cage in here. Get the harness in here.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have that. Trust me, you're gonna want to use those.
Come over to get a drive shaft, stumble across the Colorado with the crazy LS in it, turbo. It's a good day.
All right, guys, we gotta go out back and get that drive shaft built.
All right, appreciate it.
Anytime, sir.
These guys are the ultimate backyard builders. They take whatever they got, turn it into something cool. Right now for them, it's all about speed, and the faster the better. You know, I'm all about pushing the limits on my builds, so I can definitely understand putting a big engine in a small space. But it's the fun part of doing what we do. You know, I had a customer, Monty, give me a call, said come check out a project that he had for me. And rolling up here today, man, his place is really impressive. Hey, Monty.
Bill, how you doing?
Hey, man, good.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, man, good to see you. Thanks for having me out.
Absolutely.
So you got a little project for me, huh?
Well, I do. I think it's something you really like.
Man, that's nice. I'm super impressed. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. He's got a couple of 1930 Chevys, a 63 AMC Rambler American, and this 1954 Henry J is one of only 325 ever built. You got a nice collection.
Thank you very much. I've got some stuff I've had in here for 30 years and stuff that I just acquired. So
nice.
A little mix of everything.
Yeah. Which one of these you got for me?
Well, it's this 37 International here. It needs some of your help.
Man, that's a good-looking truck. It's pretty rare to find a 1937 International D2 Harvester in this good a shape. 80 years ago, these were giving Ford and Chevy a run for their money. I just love these body styles on this. It was different. It's not, the Ford and the Chevy that everybody has.
Yeah, they're not that common. It's just amazing to find them in this kind of shape.
Yeah, it looks like it's in great shape.
Yeah.
So, Monty, what do you want to do with this thing?
I love the look. I want to drive it, but it's just not that much fun to drive.
What's under the hood of this?
Well, I think you're going to know what's in there.
Inline.
An old Chevy motor. Somebody put in probably 20 years ago when the old International engine quit.
Years ago, it was a little upgrade, but definitely not anymore. Man, I think, Monty, what this thing needs, international truck, put a Cummins diesel in it.
A diesel?
You can get plenty of no problem.
But it would have to make noise, though. When you start it up, I want to wake up the neighbors.
Oh, it's definitely going to make some noise.
Okay, good.
And with the diesel power plant, we need to stop this thing. And with stopping comes with new suspension. What's this got underneath here? Oh, straight axle on this?
Yeah, bounce,
Yeah. We just need to modernize this, lower it down to the ground, modern brakes, new wheels and tires, really make this thing handle and ride like a modern car. Once we're done with the foundation of this old truck, this thing is going to ride and perform like it's supposed to. What about the interior in this thing?
That seat that's in there is about as comfortable as a buckboard wagon. You bounce around, and you hang onto the steering wheel to keep from flying out of the door. I would leave it to you guys to figure out a way to make that comfortable.
Definitely. I think about this build, it's all about making a custom interior for this that doesn't detract away from the 37 styling. Make it comfortable for you and your wife and still have a nice feel to it.
That I like.
What are we doing back here?
Well, what I'd really like to do is customize this a little bit. My family had a grocery store and a gas station in Alliance, Nebraska, and they had old pickups like that, so I thought maybe I could put Cashner Grocery on here, and it's a little tribute to my dad.
Yeah, we can definitely come up with something with that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I really like when I can tie something personal into a build, and this wood in the bed is a perfect opportunity. I'm ready to get going on this thing, man. It's going to be exciting. It'll be fun.
I think so. It'll be different.
We'll give you the full money.
Oh, I love it.
This truck is 80 plus years old. We got to get rid of everything and start over. It's a beautiful truck, but people don't come to us for restorations. I don't care who you are. Old trucks are cool. Anytime we get to work on a piece of history like this, it's something special. Monty wants something custom, but he wants something to still really look authentic. Something that still has the 30s feel, but he can get in, start it up, and drive it wherever he wants. Builds like this are super cool to me. You get to keep a truck like this on the road and still get to put my spin on it. It doesn't get better than that.
What are you doing? What's up? Remember in old times when you used to do that for a living at the service station?
Yeah. Just a customer of ours, but he wants to keep the 37 styling.
And it's actually pretty good shape for a 37.
Yeah, this thing's in real good shape. I'm thinking on this, let's pull out this old inline 6 and replace it with the inline 6. But not just an inline 6, 12-valve Cummins.
Oh, we're going to put a Cummins in here?
Yeah.
It's not going to fit real easy.
No, it isn't just a drop in, drop out. It's an inline 6 to inline 6, but he's a little bit involved with that, right? To make that other engine fit, we're going to have to cut the firewall all out and just make it a lot of room that isn't there. Monty's a pretty tall guy, so we want to build the sheet metal around the engine as tight as we can, so it gives him a lot more foot room in it. And with that, we want some upgrades underneath the front end also. As a straight axle underneath this thing. Doesn't stop, doesn't ride, doesn't
ride
drive
like a stagecoach with a straight axle under this thing.
Yeah. We're going to build independent front suspension for it with some nice disc brakes on it and a big 20-inch wheel with the same overall styling that's on there now.
That's going to look really nice. What are we going to do about the interior?
Check this thing out. As you can see, no frills here, right?
Man, I've seen farm tractors with more options than this.
Right. We want a comfortable seat. Want to change out the column to put new glass in it too, because just full interior.
This is Bill's. It's just a little bit. It's a 5-minute job.
Yeah, it's an hour-ish. As far as the back goes, check this out. You know, back here, of course, we're going to get it down with coilovers also. Put a Ford 9-inch in it, you know, fuel cell.
Yeah.
You know, on the bed of the truck, his family has had a grocery store throughout the years. So he wants to put, you know, a little plaque on the wood here to commemorate his family history and the store they've had.
So it makes it real personal.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool idea doing that.
Well, man, let's get this thing on the rack and let's figure out how we're going to get the engine out of this thing and put that other one in.
All right.
As good as this truck looks after 80 years, you just don't know what Tim and Jamie are going to find after tearing down.
Oh, man, what do you think? Little baling wire right here. Little coat hanger right here. Gas tank's had a couple issues in the past. You can see where they patched it a couple times. That's little clevises from the local hardware store. Check that out. Man, I know my grandfather do whatever it took to stay out in the field. He farmed that field from the time the sun came up to the sun went down. This looks like, well, enough look, man. Let's get it done. Man, look at this right here. That big old arch in it. Looks like they definitely might have jumped it once or twice. I mean, I'd have loved to see this thing going through the air. Imagine how it felt like that. I really like working on trucks like this because you get to see how they did it back in the day. These were made by hand, you know, an assembly line instead of now like the cars made by robots and machinery. It's a different kind of feel when you're working on a vehicle like this. It's a piece of history. Ready? Probably good. Can you lift up? Can you pry right there with the pry bar? Yeah. I'm gonna pry it out and it's gonna flip up. Okay, back up just a little bit. Okay, up. Up, 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 up. All right.
I want to go with the Cummins 12 valve in the International. I like the contrast of putting one of the toughest. They stopped making the 12 valve back in 1998. So I had to have the Wells family find one. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
We got your diesel.
There it is.
This it, huh?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
12 valve. Where'd you get this thing at?
Out of 97 Dodge, ready to go, bro. We got the same engine in our drag truck.
This 1,100-pound, 5.9-liter engine has over 400 foot-pounds of torque. But what makes this stand out is its durability. Man, this thing looks like hell, but it runs good, right? It's gonna run good.
She's solid, bro.
It has a fully mechanical fuel injection system, so it basically self-lubricates. This thing will pretty much outlive us all. This is exactly what we needed.
Glad we could help. The 12 valve Cummins, the best diesel engine ever made. So you can't beat these things. Once this thing's all done, we'll have awesome fuel mileage and this much power in that little over truck.
It's gonna get it. That's for sure.
It's huge, man. Watch out, Tim. Not every day you put an engine in a truck that the engine weighs more than a truck. It's pretty unique.
This is gonna be fun.
We got a ton of support underneath here. We're going to start by leveling the body and frame all back up. We don't want to go in and just cut the whole firewall out. We're just getting it in, seeing what the next cuts need to be. Kind of put it half-ass center, Jamie.
That's pretty close right there, Bill.
So it's just a little at a time. Cut a little bit, inching in a little bit. See what else you have to cut. Cut a little more, inch it in. Get a little at a time so you don't have this huge opening in the firewall to have to recreate later.
You know, getting this heavy engine in this truck is a challenge. But not only getting it in, you gotta get it mounted properly. Now we've made tabs off the frame back here. There's the tubing coming down, going over a center mount. It'll all be rubber mounted. The motor be mounted on rubber. Transmission mounts be mounted on rubber. We just totally reinforced everything 100%. It's beefier, it's heavier. It's not going nowhere. Ready? Pretty much anytime you go with a bigger engine, it's going to come with a bigger transmission. So I'm making a bigger trans tunnel and a new subfloor. So we came in with some 3/4 inch square tubing, built a new structure. That's going to be the skeleton that holds the new floor. So we'll cut some sheet metal. Sheet metal will connect the firewall, and we'll be done with the floor. There's several ways to do this, but me personally, I like to bend as many bends as I can. It's less places you have to weld to do, and less heat on the panel. I'm going to drill some holes so when I push it down from the top, I can weld it from the top. And you look up from the bottom, you don't see any welds, you don't see anything, it's all slicked out and looks good.
Back when this International rolled off the factory, it would have been hard to imagine the torque we're putting into it. So we got to build a whole new super heavy-duty suspension, starting with these control arms.
From the center of the bolt hole to the center of the ball joint cup, we've laid out for exactly 10 inches. So now what we're going to do, we're going to build some pipe to come over to connect the ball joint to the bushing. That's going to be the structure of our control arm. Now we have the skeleton all done up. Jamie's making a plate that's going to go in here. All this will be welded together, and the plate will be welded on this to make everything extra strong. We need the transmission jack over here. Go up a little bit. So once we got the bottom control arm on, we'll put the spindle on, the rotor on, make sure everything functions, everything's good. Then we'll make the coilover mounts. These two tabs right here are going to weld to the plate. Watch your finger. The plate is going to hold the arm. That's what's going to hold the truck up in the air and give it adjustment. Cycle it up and down, see how good it stays up and down, and we'll go from there.
Front suspension's all mocked up, so Tim and Jamie are moving to the rear and start notching the frame.
The stock frame rails have a natural curve over the rear axle, so we're just going to open up the notch a few inches. It'll maintain the structural integrity while overall changing the stance and look of the truck.
What I need to do now is contour this flat bar to the shape of this radius right here. So sometimes it's about just getting your piece pretty close and then just forming it in as you go. So I'll start cranking it with the C-clamp, just getting it in the shape. And I'll keep tacking welding it until it's perfect. So you can see the inside now, it's capped. It's got a nice shape to it. It's contoured to the template. I need to go ahead and weld that in, grind it down, and be good to go. I actually like the way this looks. It looks better than the original. It's got a little bit of style to it, nice shape. It's going to look good on the frame.
Dave and Daniel's truck looked good in the garage, so they invited me out to Houston Motorsports Park to see Daniel take some runs. Man, that thing looks mean with that big old turbo thing in the grill. It looks like fun for sure.
This ain't one of them $200,000 builds, you know. We built that from the junkyard.
Just what you had, just make it work.
So far, it's been doing good.
Man, Dave, that old truck's running good. Looks like it's hooking up good and going straight. It's making a little power too.
Hey, it ain't bad for a backyard build. I think it goes.
You know, for Daniel and Dave to put this truck together with just parts they have laying around to make it run as good as it does, you know, they did a really good job. Oh, Daniel can drive pretty good too.
Oh yeah, I showed him how to do that. He's got it.
Me and Dave go way back. He came over and watched me ride my bike around the neighborhood, his thing. You know, Northside, we're all a big family. We all know each other. We all look out for each other, especially if you got something cool going on. We may not come from the nicest part of town, but we do know how to make do from what we have times 100. It's just really cool to see. You know, I try to keep that mentality in everything we do. Always pushing ourselves to go from here to here.
One more little nudge. There we go. That's it on the money.
We got an extra large diesel for this 37 International. So we got to build an extra strong custom 4-link for the suspension.
The crossmember here is pretty much the most important part of the rear suspension. Everything trails off of this, so all of our suspension 4-link components mount to the crossmember. The diesel engine that we're putting in here, it's got a lot of torque. So this is super important for it to be strong, square, and level. We'll go ahead and put the Heims in between it and bolt it, snug them. You know, in this particular application, the parallel 4-link is the way to go because it has 4 points of contact linking the axle to the crossmember. The more points of contact you have, distributes that torque all around. So it's good right there.
Now the next step is our diagonal link. That's the final link of the whole link system. With the diagonal link from a fixed point to the point on the rear end at an angle, it keeps the rear end from moving side to side. Very key part of the suspension.
Watch your face, Jim.
Now we have all this set up. We're going to run 2 tabs off here, 2 tabs off here. That's what's going to hang the coilover.
We're going with coilovers instead of airbags on this because he wants a static drop with great performance.
It's a coilover, a shock. The suspension's going to ride on the coil spring of this. It's going to travel up and down with the coilover. And the internal of it acts as a shock. These are our mock-up coilovers we use for everything. When it gets back from powder coat, we'll put the other coilovers on with the new springs, and you'll see the final setup.
Now that we button up the suspension on the 37 International, Tim and Jamie are going to reshape these fenders so we can get that big old wheel in the back. And it'll make it meaner and look a little more modern.
The way this fender is shaped, it rolls this wide. So we need to extend the top of this fender over to the bedside so we'll be able to fit a wide wheel in it. So we marked a bunch of high spots on it. So you cut along that high spot. So when you continue over, it doesn't look like it goes up, comes down, and then continues over. So this is the half of the fender we're going to keep. The other half of the fender we left bolted to the bed. So we knew exactly where to line this back up. A little trick I've learned in the past. Give it a little strip like this. Cut the first piece, the outer side, the most important side. Leave it attached to the metal. Do all your final grinding before you cut the second one. Just makes it a lot easier to work with. Basically what we're doing is making this flange to hold it to the bedside. This is going to bolt to the bedside. The fender will weld to this. We're going to tack this back onto this fender. Now the template in the back is the same as this radius on the outside. We'll come in here, we'll cut a section out of the back. Then we'll sheet metal from here to the template, tack it, get that one good. We'll work our way to the front and do the front piece. The flange that we built is what's going to hold it to the bedside. We can unbolt that. The whole fender comes with big fat tires. It's what the truck needed in the back instead of that little...
Definitely.
It looked like a motorcycle fender in the back, where now it looks like a fender.
You had to throw something in there about a motorcycle. Yeah. I don't think so.
We're putting a lot of custom upgrades into the International. But when it comes to the interior, we're going to refurbish the seats to still keep some of that 1930s look. The hard part about using the old seats, sometimes the springs just twist and break. There's not a lot of guys that's still around that can fix these, but Joe's been doing this longer than I've been around. Man, I got a 37 International, still, you know, a vintage looking truck, and I want to keep that vintage feel with a little more modern touch.
Yeah, we'll get rid of all this horsehair, and I'll put some nice comfort foam on there, tie the springs up, fix the framework.
Man, you know what I need.
Nothing to it, buddy. I've been helping you for years. You think I'm going to stop now?
Better not.
No problem, buddy.
Let's get it loaded up.
All right. Bill's been my friend since he was a boy. When I first built this first building, and he said, "Oh, I can do that," and I said, "Yeah, no problem." But he never stopped. He just kept going, building more and more and more. Oh wow, this broke loop right there. That used to go there, and this used to go here. So we're going to have to bend a new edge wire and put it in here to attach these springs back together, make it a permanent part of the seat. Where's Bill at when you need him? I need a welder, man. But I've done this ever since I was a kid. They used to make them a lot better than they do now. Now, they don't have springs in the seats no more. They just got foam on them. They're not as comfortable. I think we need to get this right here. These young guys now, all they do is fix foam. So if you need your springs fixed, you gotta come to an old guy like me. We're starting to get a shape to the seat. We're gonna put a piece of carpet on here to keep the springs from cutting up through the foam. You wrap these edges. We're fixing to make our patterns. We're gonna make it out of another material that's not our leathers. Watch your fingers. That way we don't make no mistakes with expensive material. This is our black leather we're going to make our seats out of. It's nice, pliable, soft. The cut. Let's see how it looks. Now all we got to do is staple this down, and we're going to have a good looking leather seat. We got one seat down, one more to go, and we'll get this back to Bill.
Monty loves the vintage feel of this truck, but he wants modern touches on it. So I called my boy Lewis in. He's going to build some wood panels for the side of this bed. Still give it that vintage feel, but with custom touch.
What's up, man?
Man, need your help again.
All right. What do we got?
Monty would like to pay a little homage to his family's history. His dad has had, grocery stores in the past. I need a wood panel for each side of the bed and put their name in the bedside here somewhere.
Yeah, that'll look good.
The wheels are going to be a charcoal. The inside's all dark. So I'd like, a dark stain on this thing too, so it ties everything together.
Okay. Well, if you're going charcoal on the wheels, we could do something really cool and go with a Sosugiban finish.
What?
A Shosugiban finish. It's a traditional Japanese finish used to preserve wood, and what we'll actually do is char the wood to give it that charcoal appearance. Nobody else would have it, that's for sure.
And that sounds cool, man. Let's do that.
Okay, sounds good.
Ready to get it?
Take this over here and get started. We're going to take this piece, take our router and route it to the exact shape and give it a little profile on the edge. We're going to put some nice styling on the sides of it so it's not square, and it gives it a really nice detailed edge. All we have to do now is put the Shosugiban finish on it. So we're gonna fire up the torch and get started. So it's really important whenever you're doing a Shosugiban finish that you keep the flame moving. We don't want to keep it concentrated in one spot too long because it could potentially catch on fire, and we definitely don't want that. So as you can see, as we're doing this, it starts to really highlight the grain of the wood, and what that's doing is it's burning out the softwood of the oak and just exposing that hardwood, starting to look really, really nice. Get that look that Bill was going for when he said he wanted the charcoal gray. What better look to give them than an actual piece of burnt wood. Now I'm going to wet it down just so it doesn't get too hot. Now you can see how all that water is we're looking for not just the look, but this bed will be protected for many years to come. Okay, so now that we've got the Shosugiban finish done, we're going to get the letters engraved onto this, and then it'll be ready to put on the truck.
For me, one of the best parts in building custom builds is that it's art. But this ain't no sculpture, we get to drive them. And the more I think about David and Daniel's drag truck, the more I want to give it a run. I at least gotta ask. Look like they're around here, so they're probably out back messing around. What all my come get us. Man, here we are. Little shortcut turned into getting stuck. And that's one thing I hate, being stuck in the mud.
And once again, we gotta come and save Bill's ass. Once again. You know, when I come back there seeing Bill stuck in that mud and he had on them pretty white shoes, I just could not believe it.
I think we're getting some boots for Christmas.
Yeah.
I know much, man. Need a little help here?
Man, please, dude.
We take care of you. You already know that.
Don't get it all muddy, Bill.
You didn't bring me a blanket to lay on?
Sure. Hey, hold on. I'll be right back with that. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to talk to you about that race truck.
Do I need to go get it to pull you out?
Nah, I don't recommend that.
Man, I might need to take that thing for a little ride.
I don't know. Look what you're doing back here.
You never been stuck before, huh?
No.
You know, we're going to take it out next weekend, man, but I think we got other problems now. How about next weekend?
You won't let me drive?
She's ready.
Anytime,
yeah.
man.
All right, cool, man.
Let's get you out of this right now, Bill.
Center. Had to go backwards.
Man.
You know, sometimes getting people out of the mud, it's easy, but other days it's a lot of work.
You know, I enjoy that part of off-roading. You're going to get stuck, you know.
All right.
These things happen.
This bumper's for looks, so.
It's going to look good behind this Jeep.
Let's do it.
Come on, you got it. Straighten up, Bill. Straighten up.
Man, thanks.
Anytime, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The truck's ready.
Man, appreciate it. I'll see you
We
there.
got you. We got you.
You know, I appreciate David and Daniel inviting me out today. I can't wait to get in that driver's seat, see what this thing can do.
Back. Yeah, there you go.
So Daniel, tell me about it real quick, man. Give me a little tutorial.
All right. Make sure your steering wheel's latched on. You got your water pump here. You're going to go all the way back to first gear. Bam. First. Yes, sir. Second.
That's it.
When you let go of that button, you're going for a ride.
You're leaving.
Cool, man. I got this. Let me suit up and let's see what this thing will really do.
Oh, yeah. You gotta have this on.
Case catch on fire.
I know you like to go in circles, but we'll see how your driving skills are straight.
Keep it straight.
You got it.
Hey, you got this, brother.
Appreciate
You got it. You got it. Handle it.
I'm doing a burnout. I can feel, you know, this thing's got a little power.
And not bad for first pass.
Yep.
Man, releasing that button, feeling just the torque of this engine, the power, pulling you back in the seat and just holding this thing straight the whole time. Man, it's just exhilarating.
Well, what do you think, man? What do you think? What up? What do you think?
Oh, truck runs good, boy.
And the 6 is on the first pass?
That's rolling.
You know, it's a great way to start off your day. You don't need coffee or energy drink. Adrenaline rush is the best way to get it going. Man, that was fun, man. I tell you what, I've been needing that. You know, working so hard at the shop, man, you just get in the grind and get to come out here on a day like this and really release the frustrations, man. It just clears your mind, and
hey,
I needed it, man. I really appreciate that.
Does that baby roll or what?
It does, man. It runs really good.
We're gonna build one.
You better
need
watch
That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing.
To fit the 12-valve diesel and the 37 International, we had to pull off the turbo, amongst other things. Once this thing is running, the Wells family is going to have to figure out how to put all that stuff back on there and make the hood close. That 12-valve, it's in here.
I see that.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of room under the hood of this thing.
Yeah, Bill, for sure. I can tell we're going to have to move this charger, run a new custom intake to the compressor on the charger, return line, oil lines, fuel lines. This thing will fire up today, no problem.
Cool. Let me know
make it
if you need
happen.
something, man.
Thank you, bro. So we got a big engine, very little space. So first things first, we got to figure out what we're going to do with this turbo. We're going to have to move this manifold, pull it in more, so you can run any exhaust or piping in here that we need to do. That's going to be tight, especially here.
Oh, we're going to have to lower it.
Yeah, if we can cut this off and weld that flat and drop it down, then I can put a 90 there.
We're going to have to modify the exhaust manifold and move the turbo up and forward so we'll have room for the downpipe. Because this turbo weighs so much, we want to keep as much metal on this manifold as we can, give us more welding surface, and keep this area strong. Alright, that looks good. Let's pack it up.
I think we're ready to go, guys. All right, Clay, work the starter. TJ, when you start getting fuel up there, Dad, just stand there, look pretty.
What we like about these 12 valves of 5.9 is that they're very, very tough and rugged. They're simple to work on, and they make some of the greatest noises on the planet.
All right, ready?
We gotta run a 12 valve, boys. Turbo's finished, fuel lines are ran. All that's left now is just to make it look pretty.
Well, it all started with this one right here.
The first truck I ever got was a 2001 Dodge. My mom drove it forever pulling her horses, and it quit running one day. He said, look, for your first truck, you fix it, it's yours. And I researched it, fixed it, it's went from there.
He started fixing his truck up and racing everyone around town. And before we knew it, everyone was calling him and dropping their trucks full of trucks. And we were like, well, I guess we better start a shop.
And even poor Clay got suckered into all this.
I was the dedicated flashlight holder for a long time. It was pretty great. I slowly graduated into more the technical side of it.
Between the three of us, I mean, we can do anything.
You know, as a dad, I'm living the dream to be able to work with my sons every day. It's awesome. These two guys have taken this way further than I ever dreamed. I'm proud of them. I'm blessed, and I'm glad that we all get to do this together.
Help me do this real quick.
We got the chassis back from powder coat on the 1937 International Harvester, and it's all hands on deck putting together the rolling chassis with custom 20-inch wheels and tires.
Bring it down just a little bit, Tom. Stop.
Looks at home right there, right?
Looks nice. Looks good.
You know, if you look from the outside, all the changes are pretty subtle, but this thing is completely transformed. You know, Monty had a talk with something really cool and custom. Well, there's next to nothing 30s underneath this truck anymore. You know, I hope he likes it, because I know I do. I gotta say, this is one of my favorites. I'm gonna give it back to Monty today, reluctantly.
Hey, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm excited. I got to tell you.
I'm excited for you, too. When I came to your house a while back, you wanted the farm truck vintage feel, but something you could just get in and drive and terrorize the neighborhood.
Maybe irritate the neighbors a little.
We definitely got you hooked up with that for sure.
The anticipation's about to get the best of me.
Let's check it out.
Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's amazing. Oh, man. Gee, Merry Christmas. I can't believe it. Oh, my God. Oh, the smell, the noise, the stance. It's perfect.
Like it?
Crazy. Hey, man, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I can't wait to see the nuts and bolts on this thing. This is crazy.
Once we got going on this thing, we've just gutted everything. At one point, it was just a cab.
Just a cab and frame.
We started building from there. When you came in, this thing was pretty much 100% original. That's cool for the vintage look. As far as drivability on this thing, one of the main things I know you wanted was that diesel engine, so we got a Cummins 12 valve in this thing.
Put a 12 valve Cummins in this thing?
Wasn't an easy fit in this truck.
Oh my God. about that? How in the world did they stuff that big motor in that little truck?
Pretty much only see the front 4 cylinders, right?
Yeah, that's it.
The other 2 are inside the cab.
Okay, good.
You know, that isn't an easy trick there. We cut out the old firewall, got it in place, and just pretty much built a new firewall, new transmission tunnel around the engine.
That's amazing. Amazing. When I fire this up, I think all the neighbors around me are going to know that the old International's running. This all fits in there, the hood closes and doesn't stick out. That is just off the scale cool.
We took out the old straight axle, the over end, and we just scrapped all that.
Yeah.
Built an independent front suspension, 4-link, a new 9-inch in the back with all coilovers all the way around. This thing can handle any torque this engine puts out. The attitude's right now. You see how this thing sits on the coilovers?
That's a perfect stance I wanted. Tire width. They're kind of like the old wheels that came off of it.
Right.
Exactly what I was looking for. It's amazing.
And to get it down that low, we had to...
You nailed it. They're not out of proportion. They match the front. It's perfect. Most people will never notice it. I had to look at it a couple times to see what had happened. All the subtle custom features that are really off the scale, you can't see them. They're so subtle, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Oh, man. Look at that. This truck had never had it so good, right? You know? I mean, there was just bare metal here. That's awesome.
Still, you know, the original seat, but just, you know, totally redone. Still has that, you know, the finished look, but still has that custom feel also.
I'd say you nailed it because it just was all brand new.
I think you're going to be just very comfortable inside there when you're passing everybody up.
Yeah, I like that part, the passing part.
You know, Monty, you had those steak pockets on the back.
Yeah.
Steak belongs on your plate, not on the bed. So we filled in all the holes where the steak pockets were. We moved the wood down on the bed sides, and it has a spot for your family son.
I like that a lot. Subtle, but it's important to me that it's on there.
Man, it was really nice to be able to work on something old like this, you know, from seeing like a Nebraska truck, then taking it to where we brought it today. It's nice to see a finished product and a happy customer like yourself.
Yeah, man, you nailed it. Thank you guys very much. That is awesome. It's crazy good. I can't wait to get out. And,
you know, once again, my guys killed it on this. Hey, Monty, enjoy this truck. You're going to have a lot of fun, you know, driving, cruising, and terrorizing the neighborhood.
Heisman Trophy.
I don't know, I did a good job when it looks like you can just dive into this paper.
This thing makes 627 horsepower and 586 foot-pounds of torque, so this thing's going to be a tire shredder for sure.
The old school 1934 Buick.
And,
yeah, a lot more power and a lot more reliability.
So we got us a little situation here.
The new old school.
What?
This is very quickly becoming one of my favorite cars.
Wow,
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Well, that hasn't been separated in a long time, huh?
it looks good. Everything's clean. All sheet metal looks pretty nice. You ready to roll it out?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
We're known for custom trucks, but, you know, whatever rolls through the door, we're going to get our hands on and give the little extensive touch to it. And when we're building a 49 Cadillac for NFL Hall of Famer Earl Campbell, I mean, this guy's a living legend. So everybody in the shop's got to be on point and make sure this thing's going to be perfect. You know, this car is special. And I'll say that about all of them, but this one's is definitely special.
I think it's your turn, buddy. The finisher. I appreciate it, man.
It's been months of metal work and body work just to get to this point. You know, when people see all the custom touches that are all throughout this car, they're going to know it's Earl Campbell's.
You know, it's always a little bonus in the day when you get something major done, like just pulling the frame out, getting it cleaned up, getting it loaded off the powder coat. It's just a huge accomplishment. You know, considering how Earl's car came into what it is now, finally feels like we're getting something done. Thank you. Well, this thing is going to be a cool car.
Earl, where's the first place you're going to take this car?
In Austin, Texas, there's a little hamburger joint. Been there since the 40s.
That's the spot?
I hang out there. That's where the cars meet on Thursday night. So that's going to be my first appearance in this 49.
All right, man. You make me hungry.
I know. What's for lunch? Burgers?
Earl, man, I'd really like to take you in the shop and show this thing to you at the stage it's at, but you've seen it in pieces enough. If you can bear with me, just wait just a little longer, I promise you, it's going to be extra special for you to see this thing totally finished.
I can't wait, Bill.
For the most part, Earl's just been leaving the design for the Caddy to us. But you know, Earl called me a couple days ago, said he had some ideas for the color accents for the interior.
I'm going to tell you, man, I can't wait to see it. But when I was coming through town, I bought you some UT that I like that interior to look like. This is the real UT orange, what I used to wear when I was in college. And now, I don't need a number 20 on the leather, but everything else I would love for the inside to look like that.
So you don't want just us to get material to match this color. You actually want to use the UT jersey.
UT jersey, that orange.
In the car.
In the car. I got to have that orange in it.
Man, that's pretty cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Just some touches all throughout. When you're building a car for Earl Campbell, you really want those touches to stand out. And putting these jerseys in the interior, this is definitely the way to go. Everybody's going to know whose car it is.
Oh, yeah. I feel like a junior high football player getting promoted to the varsity on that level.
You know, we built a lot of cool cars and trucks around, but this is by far probably definitely my favorite one.
A 49 Caddy.
Yes, sir.
An orange interior. That's going to be great.
Man, we're going to make it happen.
You got it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Shock me. Knock me out of my socks, but I'm ready.
All right.
How's she looking?
It's looking real good. Considering, you know, where it's at now and where it started with, night and day. Repairing the rust on this thing, rebuilding the floor, you know, the drive shaft tunnel, transmission tunnel, building this car to the new chassis, to the new suspension, to the new engine, the LSX under the hood, man, this is going to be cool.
Just the hours that are in this area, much less the rest of the car.
You know, there's definitely a lot of custom modifications to this thing, you know, especially the firewall, to really get this thing looking like a car. When Earl pops a hood on this thing,
Man, he's going to be so impressed.
for the new LSX, we're making custom intakes and exhaust, and it's wheels, tires, and brakes. As soon as we get this thing painted, we're going to get it over to interior for custom door panels, seats, console, and headliner. The stereo that's going in this thing, all the little custom accents. You know what you give a guy that has everything? 49 custom Cadillacs, that's what you give them. You know, the only thing left to do is just paint it and then everything else. Let's start with just the paint.
Let's get in the booth.
Let's get it pushed in there. All right, man. You got this?
Got this.
You know, one of the things Earl wanted from the very beginning is black paint. And Chris is getting that thing going now.
We're going to make sure that we get enough paint on this car that any imperfections or whatever, we want them to be covered. We'll put as many coats as it takes to get this car as black as possible. I met Bill back when we were, in our teens. We were in a truck club here in Houston, and he started doing air suspension. He did some work on one of my trucks a long time ago. I think when I was 18. I did it for 15 years straight. It's fun to do. I enjoy it. I grew up watching Earl Campbell play football, and, you know, people are going to see this car, and whoever knows it and who don't know it, at least I'll know I painted it. I'll know I did a good job when I can tell that it looks like you can just dive into this paint job because the color is going to look so deep. Cadillac out of the booth, and now that it's painted and cleared, the next process is wet sanding and buffing. It has an orange peel texture, kind of leathery looking. That's why they call it orange peel. It looks like the peel of an orange. What we want to do is
sand this down with our blocks of different sandpapers, get it slick as possible, and then we're gonna come back and buff it to give it that nice mirror finish. The guys did such a good job on this firewall doing the bead rolling on it that I can't use this block on because it will burn the paint. When I say burn it, I mean sand through the paint. We have real problems if I do that. We'll block the flat areas with this block and sandpaper, and then we'll have to come back by hand and get around all the bead rolls with finer grit sandpaper. And I know where I can and can't go because, like I said, we do not want to burn this paint at this stage in the game. Okay, this is our last step in our wet sanding process. We've got 3,000 grit sandpaper on our DA sander. We'll run over this real quick and then we'll be ready to buff. And when we start buffing, that's what's going to bring out that mirror shine that we're looking for. You have to spend the time on it to make it as slick and smooth as possible, or when this thing's buffed, you'll be able to see every flaw that's in it. All right, we just completed wet sanding, buffing, and polishing part of our firewall here, which is the final step in a paint job. The only thing we got left now is to do the whole rest of the car.
Most of the guys working here have spent their whole lives in Houston. John, you know, is a lifer too. He just couldn't wait to get going on the interior. Because for guys like us, you know, Earl's just a local legend.
I'm getting ready to start the door panels and the interior on Earl's Caddy here. So what I've done is I've just laid out some templates on the doors and the panels all the way in. Here, I got me a pencil, good eraser. I'll just sit here and figure out what we're gonna make here and try to get everything incorporated in all at one time and get everything drawn out so we'll see the whole piece. We got the basic sketch down of where we're headed to, so now it's just a matter of how do we get UT in here. We don't want to make it overpowering. It needs to stay kind of subtle and just an accent in the car. So what we might do is put some sort of insert spot behind that. That might work. After looking at the placement of where I've got this armrest in relation to the seat, it's going to have to move up. So I'm really happy with the shape that I have of the armrest. So I'm going to transfer that onto another piece. This is how these things work. You just sit here and stare at them and think about it a little while and it'll come to you. It'll all make sense. And that's why I like to just sit here early in the morning, quietly, enjoy my coffee, and sketch. So all I gotta do is just lift it up and stick it to another piece of board. So just stick that down. I'll take an alpha knife, cut that out, and that'll give me my template to work with so I can put this wherever I want it at on here. So what I'm thinking here is armrest just needs to move up to about right there. That looks good. I like where we're headed with this.
Even though there was assembly lines back when Earl's 1949 Cadillac was made, you know, a lot of stuff was made by hand. There wasn't any robots. And we're taking the same approach from the metalwork to the interior.
You know, Earl showed up the other day, brought in some jerseys, wanted us to work these into the car somehow. So my thought here is to take and use those to create that Cadillac V and drop that in right here underneath these pillows. Ought to look really cool. Just a nice pop of that burnt orange in the car without being too overwhelming. Ought to turn out looking really cool. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay out the rest of the seams on the seat. I'm going to start laying out the bolsters first. I got a template that I've already drawn out for that. Make sure I have everything lined up. I want the lines exactly where I want them. In the center, what we're going to do is we're going to draw out a 2-inch tuck and roll. It's just something that was used classically back in the hot rod days. It's basically they roll the leather over and you tuck it in with some foam and it actually makes these pillow tops. Just kind of keep it the old school feeling of the 49 Cadillac, and then we'll have that modern touch of this nice hard solid shaped out pillow on the top here that still has that lean to the classic styles. All right, you know, everything in here has got a nice flow. We've still got that classic feel to it with the tuck and roll. I think this little pop of orange up here in the top for these V's is going to be get them into the trim shop and we'll get them covered.
Put the old school 1934 Buick Model 57 on hold because the owner wanted to figure out what kind of power plant he wanted to use. He ended up with the late Model 5.3, and now we're back at it.
Got it, huh? Got it.
This is perfect for this old Buick.
It always sucks to see a project get pulled off the lift, but I'm glad he made up his mind on exactly what he wanted. Now we can move forward with the rest of the car.
I wasn't really feeling taking this thing apart. It was so pristine, so original. It was hard to cut into it, but we pulled out the stock straight 8 motor, ripping out the old suspension, and start building fresh, get the steering all mocked up. I mean, this thing's going to be a new car all underneath once we're done, especially with the new 5.3.
They just had to have a new motor and transmission in it.
Exactly, man. Power, reliability. He'll never have to worry about this for sure.
I can't wait to see this thing come together. It's going to be a really, really nice old school.
The new old school.
The new old school.
Freezing cold out here today, and we're about to go drop the LS into the Buick.
The old school straight 8 is a lot wider than the straight 8. So once little one gets this thing in, we have to mock up a new steering configuration.
All right, just make sure that it doesn't hit the headlight or the paint.
Okay.
Go ahead. In?
Yeah.
This engine's pretty dirty, but when we're done with it, it's gonna look spotless.
Come in. Slowly, slowly. Watch the front bumper.
Yeah. All right, we clear?
Yeah.
Now, we get that angle under it, then we need one more in the front, and then we can go ahead and start moving it around. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now that we have the header mocked up and the engine fully on its own in the car, the steering has to be moved now too.
The owner still wants to keep as much of that original interior as possible. So we're trying to keep the old steering column.
The key to work on these beautiful cars is you gotta do yoga at least once a week. Since I can't cut right outside on the firewall, we gotta take the ignition off, release the column, and pull it out without damaging this nice, beautiful interior. Beep, beep. That was easy, wasn't it? Got it out.
Cool, man. Keeping the old column just fit the whole original interior in this is definitely the way to go about it. There's a problem with that, though. We don't have any way to adapt the original column to the rack and pinion that we're going to put underneath there. So we have an end of an old column. I want to graft this on to the original one.
All right.
That way we can adapt all this right to the rack and pinion, and everything will work right.
Right.
You know where to cut.
Got it.
Quick, easy, right? No, this just goes to show you there's something that wasn't even thought of when we set out to do this little project. But, that's just what we do. We deal with them, keep on rolling.
Got that.
It's kind of like a Russian doll. Everything just goes in piece after piece after piece, and they're all gonna fit in perfect. Now it's time to put all the pieces together and make this custom 1934 2020 steering column. So this is not our finished product until it gets painted and fully installed, but now we're ready to mock up our rack and pinion. I gotta wash my hands because I do not want to get this interior. A while ago we were sticking all the way here, almost touching the header. Now we're right at the firewall, exactly where we measured, exactly where we wanted it to be. From here we can pivot around it and we can go straight into our rack and pinion that's gonna end up being up there in the front.
So we got us a little situation here. Our rack is way up there in front, like almost a foot in front of the engine. And with our column coming out like right behind the cylinder head, we need to detour our steering shaft around the exhaust header and then go back straight to the rack. So we had to make us like a two-piece steering shaft with the center U-joint mounted on a heim joint. We got to get this thing as close as possible to the header without touching. That way it doesn't put this U-joint in so much of an angle, which is going to cause hard spots in your steering. We have 3 U-joints. There's nothing to hold it in the middle. we got to support it with this heim joint. And what this is going to do is hold this shaft in the center from moving around and hitting the headers into the chassis. That way it'll support this from moving around. We got everything in place. Now we're ready to give this a rotation. Check it out. Man, this steers pretty good. I don't feel any hard spots. I think we got this set up pretty good. Now we definitely know this car's gonna steer in the right direction.
You're definitely not gonna make a lot of new friends with the Buick crowd cutting into this original 34 Buick. But we're still doing what we can to give this thing the respect it deserves. I have Edgar color matching the engine to the cab, and Matt's adding a super clean serpentine setup.
So now we got our motor in here. We're gonna go ahead and start getting the front drive assembly on, the water pump, alternator, and everything that gets the motor running. So with this bracket here, it holds the water pump, the alternator, power steering pump. It allows everything to be more compact and gives us a lot more clearance, especially when a car like this, we barely have any clearance in the engine bay, so it tightens everything up and gives it a nice look. Now that we got our bracket on, we'll go ahead and mount our power steering pump up. We're still real tight on clearance, but it fits, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Now it's lean, mean, and ready to be seen. Got it.
Yes, man.
Definitely a big improvement from what was in it.
A lot more power and a lot more reliability.
And it kind of looks like it belongs.
Yeah, it just looks right at home in this thing. Man, Matt, it's all downhill now, huh?
Yes, sir.
You know, there's so much room on the backseat of this 49 Cadillac that John has plenty of space to come up with a couple of one-off speaker enclosures.
So what I'm gonna do to take up this space here is I'm gonna use it as a subwoofer enclosure. I'm gonna take my subwoofer, flip it upside down and downfire it into the pocket over here. Get a little back pressure loaded on the front of the subwoofer. It'll improve the sound a little bit. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'll start with the baffle of the box, and I can take that and I start building the walls of the box up and around and get the shape to it that I'm looking for. Figure out how we're gonna go about tying this whole big piece together. Let's start with the back wall that needs to be curved. Basically just cutting it every 1/4 inch, almost all the way through, and that'll allow it to bend and shape to the fender well just fine. So once I get my angle cut on it, I can go put it in the car and get it stuck. This enclosure is a little different than most of the enclosures that we build around here. It will actually become the interior trim panel of the car. We'll make a top piece that comes out, but it won't come out all the way. It'll stop shy over here with some shape in it, and we'll bring it all back into here to go down. And this will turn into your armrest area up here. So when you're sitting in the back seat, you're in an armrest here, and this will all sculpt down towards the seat. In order for this material to make the shape that I want, I've made these ribs, and we'll put them around in a couple of places, and that'll give us something to attach our material to and start fiberglassing. Just gonna take a piece of this flex form carpet here, push this down in here. It'll take the shape that we want. We'll get it stapled down. That should be perfect. Now that we got that worked out, next thing we'll do is take some fiberglass resin, start piling it on here, and wait for it to get dry enough to touch so we don't get it all over the car. And once it's to that point, we're gonna put it back in the car, continue building our panels around it, get everything tied in. When you're building your custom panels like this, you want to make sure that you keep everything in consideration, keep things nice and tight so you have one nice cohesive flow through your entire panel.
Edgar painted the new LSX for Earl's 49 Cadillac. And of course, it's Texas Longhorn Orange. And we got our custom chassis back from Powder Coat. We're putting it all together with brand new air lines, brand new brake lines, all new stainless bolts, and of course, brand new Billy wheels.
Starting to look like a car now. Yeah, looks good with 4 wheels on it.
Man, now you
you can actually see how the contrast is coming together. The little pop of the motor color is going to tie into the little bit of interior color. It's going to make the whole car a complete package. And this car is fit for Earl Campbell.
Definitely. I hope he'll let me borrow it one day.
When you're getting the body ready to put on the frame, it makes for a really, really good day. Seeing the big pieces, man, it gets me excited. This is very quickly becoming Iron Caddy is about to be born today. I sure be liking that chassis. You should probably set it down on there, huh?
Yeah.
Looking good.
Looks real good.
You know, these were the colors he was wearing when he won the Heisman Trophy. You gotta love this, right?
Right. Man, especially being his first custom car.
I'd be happy with this, my 100th custom car.
Made like a V.
Yeah, dude, it sure is. Just for this car.
With all the work we've done to Earl Campbell's 49 Cadillac, there's still something missing. So I asked Justin to build a couple of custom downpipes.
Right here on Earl's Cadillac, we got the LSX 454 crate motor stabbed in there. This thing makes 627 horsepower and 586 foot-pounds of torque at 5,000 RPM, so this thing's going to be a tire shredder for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get our throttle bodies mounted up so we can start doing our charge pipes. We got these billet throttle bodies. They're twin 102 millimeter throttle bodies, so it's going to supply a lot of air to this big cubic inch motor. We have our aluminum mandrel bins. They're 3 now. We can kind of see that there's a lot of room in the engine bay, so we get creative on this intake system. Well, since he went to UT and old Vivo over there, we're going to go ahead and do it where it looks like almost 2 horns in the center. 5 inches off of each horn. I marked 5 inches from the end of our tube so that both of our tubes match up, and I'm going to use the tape pretty much to connect the dots so that we have a good clean cut line to follow. Let's go cut some pipe. Basically, since this is a big 454 cubic inch engine, we need to make sure that we can supply it with enough air to make that power. So that's the reason we chose the 3.5 inch dual throttle body setup. And we're going to try to put the filter placement where we're pulling good, clean, fresh air right in the front of the vehicle. So I like the way that the intake has that X pattern, so we're going to try to emulate that with our intake tubes. It's looking like we can take this 180-degree bend, split it in half, use that 90-degree angle, and it should put our pitch right exactly where we're wanting it. So now that we have all of our tubes cut, you can kind of see the direction we were talking about in the beginning where we wanted our placement of our air filters. And now that we have it with the tape kind of securing the 2 tubes in place, we can get it pulled off and go weld it up. So on this tube here, I'm going to end up welding it clockwise, coming around this way. And on this tube here, I'm going to come counterclockwise. It's going to give it one of those little small details that most people wouldn't notice, but, you know, to the ones that do it, they'll appreciate it. So we're going to go test fit them on the caddy, see how they look. If everything looks good, we can go ahead and pull them off and polish them. So now that we got everything wrapped up, everything's installed, see everything fits like we wanted, I think Earl will be real happy with this when he sees it.
After a lot of hard work and some tough decisions, this 1934 Buick's finally done. You know, I was really reluctant about cutting out all the old factory suspension, but once we got into it, that's what we do.
Bill called me and said the car was ready to come and look at it, so, I invited the guys, the Silveranos Car Clubs of Houston. All my friends are here, their cars are here. We're all excited to look at the Buick.
What's going on, man?
See you, man.
Javier, how you doing, man? Good to see you. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up?
You got the whole crew out, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You know, after looking at your whole crew's cars, I can definitely see why you wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah, man. I got to keep up with them, so.
Yeah. Your Buick now, it'd definitely fit in with the crowd for sure.
Oh, I can't wait. All right. Hey, good deal, man. Man, she looks pretty. Damn, Lord. Oh, my God. Good deal, man. Awesome. All right, man. Good job, man. Good, man.
Man, what you think about that thing?
Man, it looks good. Beautiful. love the way it looks, the stance, the wheels.
You know, first things first, we got this thing on the lift and just started fresh with a new rear end, built independent front suspension for it with all air all the way around. That thing's gonna ride good, handle good, and be reliable for sure.
Now you know why I asked you to do what I wanted to do, right?
You know, Javier, I gotta admit, once this thing's down on the ground like that, man, it changes the whole look.
Yeah.
Definitely made the right decision for sure.
Yeah.
One other thing you wanted was the reliability and some power under the hood, right?
Right.
Let's check out under the hood.
How'd you fit that thing in there?
Started out ripping that old engine and trans out and just getting a pulled out 5.3, stripping it all down, really dressed it up, make it look good. So when you pop the hood, you got something to be proud of.
Man, wonderful.
It was tough, but definitely worth it. We had to do a vintage air frame that's such a narrow frame in it. We had to custom make all the steering to get around the headers, and everything had to be one off, especially because of the fitment.
The old engine looked like an antique. This is state of the art. This car went from being real cool to real gangster.
You probably got 10 times the power that this thing came with. We'll see if you can keep some tread on these old cokers here.
All right, can't wait.
Taking a late model engine, sticking in such an antique car, you think it'd probably stick out. But all the work we put into this engine, making it look the way it does, it's like it was made for this car. What do you guys think, man? You gonna let this guy cruise around with you?
Yeah. I'm so happy now that I can just get in this car, start it up, and show it off. Thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right.
You know, sometimes in this business, you really got to lean on your guys. You know, on the caddy, we really had to lean on John. You know, he's really coming through. Every little detail he's adding is 100.
We'll get started on the rear deck for the 49 caddy. We're going to start by cutting out our base out of MDF. We'll take that over to the car, get that in place, and start building it up from there. The back deck has a curve in it, so we'll make two pieces. I'm going to take some fiberall here and mix it up and use that to actually put these two pieces, especially with it being up here in the rear deck of the car. You know, it takes a lot of heat up here. We want something that's really going to be able to stand up and not give us any issues. This will be the riser that'll come up from the rear deck that helps tie it into the back of the seats. All right, we got this thing all dried up, positioned, ready to go. So I'm gonna pop this thing out, take it across the way, put it on the table, and we'll finish it out there.
You know, Earl Campbell's 49 Cadillac is just one of those builds where we're just making as many parts as we can by hand. Ryan's finishing up the custom exhaust on one side. Now he's mirror imaging it to the other.
The first side is always the easiest. Mirroring it is the hardest part about it. It's just a lot of marking, fine-tuning, a bunch of small cuts until you get that final exact perfect fit that we're looking for. And you know, it's easier to cut a little bit at a time than cut a whole bunch and then have to either add or go find another piece and start all over again. Well, the reason I'm putting the V-band here is because the muffler and all that, all the way to the header is all one piece right now, and one full piece. Houston, 40 degrees in the morning, 80 degrees at lunch. At this point, the exhaust is the most complex of it all because of this bin that I got right here and then just what I have to work with and just the limited amount of space. So trying to make this work and flow and not cause any restriction and also clear everything is pretty tricky, but hopefully I can get exactly what I'm looking for out of this and make it go all the way and jump out the back instead of stopping right here. Alright, so I didn't let it beat me. We were able to make it come all the way out to the back. That's gonna look tight from the back. Whenever you're driving behind it, see that? That's gonna look dope. So now all we got left to do is just make some hangers, drill some O2 bungs, weld it all up, and throw it back in the car. I think if Earl ever gets to take a look underneath this car, he should be very happy. I know I am.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Bill?
On this build, there was a lot of parts had to get chromed, but that grill, you know, that grill's something special. We had to make sure this thing shined. You got something for me?
Oh, yeah, I got something for you, buddy. I got your grill.
Man, that thing looks looks good, Victor.
Some 1940.
Dip this thing in chrome, but...
Yeah, I mean, well, you do it in 30 minutes. Nah.
You gotta take the whole thing apart, huh?
The whole thing apart. Okay, these 5 pieces right here, they're made of stainless steel. So you gotta be careful with them, you know, when you polish them and chrome plate them.
Yeah, and it's not just this either. Of course, you got such a good reflection. You look down here, you see everything up here. Yeah, so everything back here has to look just as good.
Like that.
Because this thing's pretty much a mirror now.
Yeah.
Victor, you sure this is the same one?
The same one, buddy.
This thing looks brand new. I think it's better new.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Man, I appreciate it, Victor.
It's all yours, buddy. Just be careful now.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, a ton of interior work's been done to this 49 Cadillac, but there's still a ton more to go. You know, John's got his work cut out for him, building custom speaker pods, cup holders, and pockets. Man, these door panels are gonna be cool.
So now I got the speaker pod and cup holder pocket all ground out in shape. The next component that I need to finish for the door panel is the armrest. So I'll just take my template here, just gonna trace it out. I'll come in and rough cut it, and we'll route it. All right, got them all cut out. Next step to do, sand them down, glue them up, and then stack them. You just kind of come up with ideas in your head and then think of ways to execute your ideas. You know, the stacking method here is basically just to get a big chunk to carve out of, as you would any other sculpture, really. So the next thing you're gonna do is gotta put the hand pull in this thing. I've got a template here, so I'll have it for both sides. Trace it out. All of this in here is gonna get carved out, so we have some place to put fingers, grab a hold of it, and close it. You know, Earl came in the other day, he had a challenge. He really wants to get this UT burnt orange color in the car. We're gonna take this, cut it up, and wrap a few pieces. That will work. This is where all that body working and sanding really starts to pay off. You can actually start to see what you've made, see the final product. Everything starts to come together. You can see all your lines, your details, and if you don't put all that time and effort into it, when you get to this point, it'll start to show too. All right, well, that's a wrap. Only thing left to do now is get it on the car and get the speakers in it and get everything buttoned up, and this thing will be ready to roll.
I love working on Cadillacs because that's just the car of the industry.
It's one of those cool cars that was always fun because they were the luxury of the time.
Cadillac rolls in here.
We're all fighting to work on it.
I hope I get to work on it.
John knows with that Cadillac, he can put 15 speakers in the trunk. You know you can make it as low as you want and make it go as fast as you want.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be the porter and drive around the parking lot. I mean, that's what I want to do. Of course, we did the 59 for Slim. We cut the roof off and made it a Roadster.
Night and day difference in that
just
car.
doing the windshield wrap around on that car.
Yeah, stretching the back out and moving seats that far back to make room for
That's
him.
one thing Cadillacs always had, is plenty of room.
Nothing said America like Cadillac.
As American as...
You know, apple pie. They'll keep making them. We'll keep customizing them. People keep eating them.
You know, I can remember being young and my dad watching Earl Campbell just killing people every week. He just rooted for him, you know, every time he played. You know, when people hear now that we're building a car for Earl Campbell, you hear all the stories of how good a player he was and just how he dominated everybody on the field. You know, every step of the way on this 49 Cadillac, you know, Earl's been an inspiration to us. You know, the consistency, you know, that's what we were going for in building this Cadillac. You know, so today it's an honor to give Earl his car back. The 49 Cadillac is something I'm very proud of, and every guy in the shop is proud of. I'm kind of jealous, man. This is a cool car.
Hey, Tim, you can't tell me anything about this car, man.
Man, I don't want to tell you anything. I want to keep it a surprise for you till Bill gets here. One thing I will tell you is it's all in one piece now. All them buckets that showed up in and records that it showed up on,
It's in a whole lot better shape than what it was.
Earl came all the way from Austin to Houston just to see this car we built for him. You know, the last time you seen it, it was in thousands of pieces. I can't wait to show it to him now.
How you doing, Bill?
Man, what's going on?
I'm here to see that bad 49 Caddy. Oh, yeah, man.
Man, you saved me just in time. I've been picking my brains wanting to see this thing.
What do you think, Earl? I know you've been waiting a while. You ready to see this thing?
I'm ready. I can't wait, Bill.
Man, Timmy, let's do it.
Here she comes.
It was fun building this. This is something we're all super proud of for sure.
Come on, man. Hurry up. Let's get this car uncovered. Look at that. Whoa, man, that is great.
What you think, Earl?
Can't leave, Bill. When this car first got here, that paint job, that black. Man, that bumper, that's a hell of a lot of chrome.
There's plenty of black and plenty of chrome on this thing.
Oh, man, that's great.
Man, Earl, you know, it's a huge challenge to make, you know, parts in the parking lot into a car looking like this. You know, we first started off getting this thing on the lift, doing rust repair. You know, getting a car this old, this straight, and the gaps right on this, the body guys, that's showing their skills right there. Yeah. A 49 Cadillac don't come like that. You make it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when the panels come in the back of a truck all thrown together, just thrown in that truck.
Come on, man, you guys don't let me forget that, huh?
You know, especially black. You know, looking down the side of this thing is laser straight.
Man, that is beautiful.
You know, building a chassis on this thing, Earl, motor mounts, new rear end, new front suspension, air suspension, so this thing lays real low to the ground too. Every nut, bolt, everything is 100% brand new. You have a brand new 49 Cadillac.
Just to see it all put together, I was amazed. I mean, the chrome on it, the lovely lady on the front. I mean, I just can go on. I just couldn't believe it.
Earl, you had a couple stipulations. You wanted this car to be some power under the hood.
That's right.
We got something for you under there.
Let's see. Good nurse.
Earl, you said you wanted some power under the hood in this thing. The 454 LSX is the one for it.
And burnt orange.
Yep.
That's great, man.
Building all new firewall in this thing, all new sheet metal molded onto the fenders, new core support. John came in and just bead roll you a nice, cool panels in there. You know, it's got the little Cadillac V recessed down in it.
On the wall, man. It's unbelievable.
You know, Earl, when Justin was making the air intakes of this, he took a design cue from, you know, UT mascot Bevo, kind of replicated the Longhorn on the
Yeah, sure, you kind of see that's an intakes.
Right?
One of your honors in life was the Hall of Fame, so we wanted to make you a medallion here to hold the two pipes together. John machined us a deal. This is 1991 Hall of Fame with a little football on it.
You know, there's no mistaking whose car this is.
That's right.
Let's check out the interior of this thing.
Wow.
Man, last time you seen this thing, there was just piles and piles and piles of parts for the interior on this thing, right?
Yes, man, it's got the burnt orange on the door.
Man, we know you had to have that UT orange. We sewn them into the interior itself. All this is handmade by old John Burgess himself.
Yes, he did a great job.
You know, it's got you a little something special back there in the rear deck as well.
Yes.
You get the little Longhorns incorporated in the back, all the way up into the Dakota Digital gauges.
Now, there's some special numbers in your life of what you've been through. So 20, you were a Heisman at UT.
That's right.
34, you were a Houston Oiler, and then 91, you went to Hall of Fame.
That's right. There's no doubt everything in this car says Earl Campbell. I mean, they went out of their way and beyond. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. Oh, man. Yeah, breathe. That's down in the dirt.
That just changes the whole attitude, right?
Yes, sir. When you see that 49 Caddy sitting up, that's one thing. But when you see it go down all the way in the grass, that's bad. You got a 49 after that.
I try to make this thing as comfortable and as cool for you as possible. It's got 24x9s in the front and 22x12s in the rear.
I never seen a rim like that before. That's one of a kind. I love it. What a beautiful car.
I like your car, man.
I'm really happy it's mine. Yeah, I'm happy it's mine. Thank y'all very much for what y'all done. You and your team should be very proud.
The whole process from start to finish, it took some time. It was a labor of love for every guy. I can't thank my guys enough. And this is just one more example of us just
lifted up. I see air ride suspension.
That's the name of the game around here. Now we can really start letting the creativity and the fabrication all come together. We did a lot of work on this 2006 Kodiak already.
What else does he want now?
He wants to put an extra wheel and tire in the back.
One wheel is going to be a problem.
So the structure is going to be there. The flow, it's going to look like it was made like this.
Oh my God, Bill.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. We just got a pretty cool 71 Suburban out in the lot. I owned one of these things for a short period of time, and, I miss it. I'm definitely attracted to this car. Good looking truck.
What's up, buddy? What's up, man?
It's endless possibilities what you can do this old Suburban. I've seen them way high, seen them way low. So whatever the owner Ronald wants to do this thing, I know it's going to be cool.
Is that truck you're telling me about from Maryland?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
It looks 4x4. Is it true 4x4?
Yeah, it is.
Man, it's cool. What are we doing to it, though?
Man, I don't know. And I got to get on a Zoom call and see what he's got going on.
He just bought it and said I'm shipping it, huh?
It's here for a reason. About to go find out.
Let me know what he says.
Ronald, how you doing?
Doing good, Bill, man. Excited.
Just got that Suburban in, man. That thing it's nice.
It's cool, but it needs to be a little bit cooler.
Oh, definitely.
It needs a touch. You've seen it. It needs some loving.
So, it's here. What are we doing?
I see it lifted up. I see air ride suspension, new tires. I see it pulling a nice Airstream down the road and looking just incredible.
Heck yeah.
It's four-wheel drive, so I'm not the kind of guy, I don't like going low, but I do want it to go up a little bit, and I want the stance to be cool.
So you're maybe something worth aired up from there?
Maybe a little higher than where it's at right now. Does that sound like it'll work?
Absolutely.
I just want it to blow people's minds when it's riding down the road.
That's the name of the game around here.
Whatever you can do, get that thing right. It's going to be a camping vehicle. I'm going to ride it. This thing ain't going to sit in the garage the rest of its life. It's going to be out there riding around.
I love hearing this. Not only get to build a cool truck with cool suspension, it's also going to be on the road and actually being used on a daily basis. What I see on this thing is just taking out the old suspension and just putting brand new 4 links front and rear on this thing, lifting this thing up and just riding with air suspension incorporated. You just want something that when you're driving down the road with that travel trailer behind you, people beside you can just see the moving parts of the suspension.
I want them to be able to see it.
Yes. Yep. New wheels and tires on this thing, some nice shocks, big brakes. That's going to be a good looking cruising truck, especially with your trailer behind it.
Maybe even put a little music in it too. I want to, it doesn't have to be crazy loud where, I'm waking up the trailer park. I want a little bit of sound coming out of that Suburban. So
you got it, man. We're going to take care of this thing for you.
I want this thing to be beautiful. It might be a second trip. After you get this done, I don't know.
Absolutely. Phase 1, no problem at all. We can get this thing on the lift, get it tore apart, and get that new suspension built. At any point, you can bring it back, and then we'll start phase 2 to take it to that next level.
Sounds good.
We love working with our customers, no matter, if it's a one lump sum build or if it's spread out over many different trips. If it goes and comes and goes and comes and goes and comes a few times, it doesn't make any difference to us. We'll be there all the way of building their dream truck.
I'm ready. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, so.
I'm really excited on this thing. This thing's going to be really, really cool, and I can't wait to get going.
You think you're excited?
Man, we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, sounds good, Bill.
All right, bye. Next generation Suburbans are really popular and really sought after. It's unique. It's something you don't see every day. You know, this truck's going to be built in phases. No problem. Who knows how many phases this thing's going to go through, but, you know, the first phase is always the most critical. That's when you really get the creativity started. You build upon that creativity, and it leads to a bigger, better produce. You know, once you put the shoes on, you're like, man, I need some new pants. And then you put the new pants on, you're like, gotta have a new shirt. You know, you gotta make the whole outfit complete. You know, that's what we're gonna do right here, is just customize this thing step by step, piece by piece, till this thing looks 100% and 100% custom. What's happening? Man, it just so happens I'm looking at it right this minute. Ronald was clear from the beginning. There's going to be many times he's going to add to the build. You know, I just thought it would be after we finish the first phase. I mean, we got plenty of room in the back of this thing to do whatever we want to do. So the interior is something we can really focus on a lot to really make it comfortable, you know, for you guys for sure. And to be something to show off. All right, man. Thanks a lot. We'll take care of it for you.
What's up, man? Finally got the Suburban in the shop?
Yeah, man.
Cool. Do a little audio in it? Get this thing in and out?
Well, that was the plan. The little audio. That's not the plan now.
Plans changed.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with the owner, and, you know, I guess he slept on it a little bit. He got bit by the bug. He wanted a little upgrade.
Well, we've got a lot of real estate in here to upgrade.
Man, there is. There's a lot of room in here.
Well, sometimes it's easier to just do it all at one shot than having to go back and forth with it. It's like, it's there, just do it.
Right. First thing we're going to do, new interior. Everything in this thing, we're going to change. He wanted new audio, but now he wants new seats, headliner, door panels, and even more audio.
Sure we can make something like that work out.
I know you can. The next step, we're taking it over to the fab shop and cutting everything out from underneath this thing. It's going to look way, way, way better. You know, we're giving it a nice lift with air suspension on it, big 4-link, you know, 40-inch tires, new rims, big brakes. It's going to have an aggressive look coming down the road. We want this thing to look just mean.
Okay.
When he opens the doors, I want it to have that same aggressive look too.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Basically, take the same ideas that you have going on underneath it, keep those ideas flowing, and put something in here that just says, I'm here, and get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I got my laundry list of work to do, so let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna start with getting the seats out. You know, the idea behind use it and drive it, not just make a showpiece out of it. We still want to have something that's going to be functional. So keep those things in mind as we go, and we'll start making something cool. One of the things I enjoy about watching a guy get excited when we're building their truck, you know, first when it gets here, they're a little set back, a little reserved, don't want to do too much, take their time, do it in stages. And once it gets here, they get thinking about it, they get all itchy. Next thing you know, here we go. Full builds every time. There's your original color. Seafoam green, I guess is what you would call it. As hard as they try when they do a color change in a car, it never fails. Somewhere you're going to find hints of the color. There it is. For now, I'm going to start with the subwoofer enclosure. That way I know I've got to have that space. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then we'll start making all the panels to make it look good. So what we'll do is we'll take this bottom piece first and just start drawing out around all the pieces until this fits back where we want it to. And we'll start building it up. Nice fit. You know, it's just like a big puzzle, one piece after the next. Make a piece, cut it, fit it, glue it, just work it as you go, especially when you're trying to fit into these really tight spaces like this. That's kind of hard to map out and build on a table, so you're just back and forth building it. Right. So what we're going to do next is take some body filler, use that as a sealant to make sure that the box is nice and airtight, and then we're going to go back over top of that with some fiberglass chop strand to give it the strength that it needs so we know it's going to stay together and stay sounding good. All right. Box is fitting great. The next step is going to be to build the recessed baffle that's actually going to hold the subwoofer. So what we want to do is we're going to recess them back inside this enclosure about 4 inches. So you won't even hardly see them. They're going to set so far back in here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is a little bit of stack fab. Basically take and just stack up a bunch of layers of MDF until I get it back to where I want it to be. We'll get it attached to this thing. And this box will be just about done. So what I did to get the angles and stuff on the baffle is they just kind of went off of the angle of the back door. The back wall has an angle to it. We got the same angle on the box, so we're just going to kind of follow that angle forward just so everything flows together. There's exactly what we're looking for.
There's a lot of real estate inside this 1971 Suburban, especially when bigger boxes in the back. He's going to move on to the door panels.
So what we're doing now is we're just making all the parts and the pieces for the door panel. Since we have 4 doors, all of them are going to be the same. So once we make one, just repeat it, duplicate it, mirror image it on the router. That way we can set them all up and work on them all at one time and get the process done a little bit faster. We got the bottom section where the speaker's going to go. What I want to do is I'm going to take this top line here, instead of it being just flat, I'm going to put a curve to it, and then I can round it over. It just takes the blockiness out of it and just gives it some character and some life instead of just being stuck on the door and flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this scoop bit on the router to give the inside opening a profile and the outside edge a profile. Once that's done, then we can take it apart, put it on the machine, and reshape it and give it a whole completely different look. Sometimes in order to make the ideas and designs in my head, I have to make a one-of-one tool. So I went ahead and made my own jig, my own sled here that's going to create an arc in this piece that is going to give it some dimension and depth. It's a little bit extra work, a few extra steps to take, but that little extra touch really, really stands out, puts the craftsmanship into it, and really, really makes something that's one of a kind. All right, so you can see this one, it has shape to it and dimension both in this direction and in this direction. The next thing to do, attach it to its base. This thing's ready to do some body work. I've done similar things to this once or twice before, but you know, every time you do it, it's always something different, which really is what makes it so much fun. That's what I enjoy about it. I like the creative part of it and the problem solving. You can kind of see the whole door panel starting to come together here, all the pieces. We'll have our speaker set down into this pocket here, and then we'll have our armrest up here.
You know, in the custom car game, no matter what the customer's original checklist is, there's always one more thing. Always. You know, sometimes we get a project in, you know, it just needs that last final touch to make it 100% complete. You know, we always want to accommodate, but that's one of the challenges of owning a custom shop, just making the customer happy. We did a lot of work on this 2006 Kodiak already, and we were about to ship it out. Then the owner called me up. He just wants to do that one more thing.
One last look before it goes home, or what?
Man, it'd be nice if it was going home, but, you know, the world of custom, it's always that one more thing, right?
Huh. What now? Yeah.
You know, this Kodiak rolled in pretty good condition. We built custom air suspension, made a new front bumper, made new running boards, added a new grill, added headlight conversion, new wheels, tires, and painted the whole truck silver.
So what else does he want now?
Well, he wants to put an extra wheel and tire in the back. You know, one that matches the ones that are on the truck, mounted back here in the bed.
Mounted down flat, up, or how you want to?
You know, I don't know yet. I'm going to get it in the shop and kind of play with it, see what looks good, what looks cool. So I'm thinking probably mounted 30 degrees or so, mounted up close to the tank, you know, something so if you're looking down on the bed, you can see it, but not something that sticks up over the top of the bed rails.
All right.
That's what he wants. That's what he's getting. We'll get with Max, see if he can get one. I don't even know if you can just get one, huh?
I hope. I'll go get Max figured out.
Yeah. All right. We've done a lot of Kodiaks over the years. The medium duty platform is just great to work with. You know, it's different from every other thing on the road, and that's what the customer wants when they bring these things in. It's just one of one, something that nobody's seen before. You know, we've done a lot of work to this big old Kodiak, a lot. But for a thing, we got to make it happen. You know, sometimes when a customer comes up with a last-minute idea, you know, they haven't been around for the whole creative process. So incorporating their last-minute idea into a project that's already been built, there's a few little challenges comes with that. You just don't want a little spare tire stuck in the back. It looks like a sore thumb just out of the blue. You want something that just all flows together and look like it was all thought about from the very get-go.
Yeah, man. Yep, I can have that to you today. That's no problem.
You know, Max has been a really great addition to Extensive. He's been a running point on sales and parts. And he's got a real knack for finding things that are really hard to get, like one custom dually wheel for the Kodiak.
Have a good day. All right. Hello, Timmy. Just the person I need to see. Uh-oh. I need a favor. Well, what kind of favor? I need another wheel. For Kodiak. You have 6 wheels. I thought the truck was done. Bill walked out there and did the old pat on the shoulder and told me we had added some more stuff. Okay. The guy wants to be able to travel across country and he wants a full-size spare. Working in a shop where we do higher caliber builds, parts, everything's usually custom made, so we have to fabricate them here, or we have to source them from the right people to get them on time. So 4 wheels, not a problem. 6 wheels, definitely not a problem. 1 wheel is going to be our problem. It's not my problem, buddy. That's yours. Thanks, Timmy.
You know, there's no such thing as a stock 7th wheel mount, so we got to make one. We got to make this 7th wheel mount rigid enough to hold this big, heavy wheel. We got all of our pieces cut. We should have all of our angles right, so we got our spacer that simulates the angle of the wheel. We got our smaller spacer in the back, so we got a little tilt to the wheel. So when you look down into the bed, you'll be able to see that nice displayed wheel. So I'm gonna start putting the pieces together real quick. We'll tack it all up and we'll see if it fits. You always start out with the vision that you have in your head of the basic idea. Top needs to go back. You know, once you start building it, you don't want to get dead set in your ways. You want to improve every time you build something. So even if it's something to just building a wheel holder, you always want to think of different ideas. And you know, usually those ideas keep us way behind schedule. Let's put another tack on this. You know, mounting a 7th wheel in this 2006 Kodiak isn't what I call a common request, but that's what makes it fun coming to work in the morning. You know, making the unexpected look like it should have came like that from the beginning. Let's unclamp this thing, see if it fits in. So we got to cut that off so it don't hit the wheel, huh? Just mark with a soapstone, and we'll just weld it up and grind it from there. Looks good, man. Yeah, come out nice. I mean, it's got some strong mounting points on it. It looks good. Man, this thing's going to last forever. Yep, no doubt we want that big, heavy wheel on this thing, shaking, going down the road. You know, start fatiguing everything if it wasn't built super strong, and that's what we got. So, looks good. It's clean, strong. So, let's do it. All right. While John and his team are finishing up the interior, we're rolling the 71 Suburban right into a bay so we can get started on that brand new custom air suspension lift.
So we finally got this old Suburban inside the shop. We're gonna take it, break it down. We're gonna take everything off of it that's on there. Take all the suspension out from under it, shocks out, axles out. We're gonna get it up as high as we can, make it look really aggressive, have some fun. So the advantage for working on an older vehicle is that they're a lot more simple. The disadvantage is everything's froze up and a lot harder to get off and loose. you've got the right tools, some rusty parts won't stop you. Finally got the front off, completely disconnected, all the hardware and everything disassembled. Time to move on to the back. This drive shaft's reusable, so it can actually be shortened or lengthened because it's welded. We're going to keep this slip yoke for this transmission and trans hook.
Let's put it on here first.
All right.
Now we take it up there and pick it up, put on this.
Sweet. Thanks, sir. All right, so we finally got everything off the truck. Front axle, rear axle, all the suspension parts. We can bring in all the new stuff, and we can get this thing up in the air where we want it.
We tore out all the old suspension and cleaned up the stock front and rear axles. So now Jamie and I can start mocking up the air suspension. Whoa, that's probably pretty good, huh?
Uh-huh. What we're going to do with this thing is an air suspension lift. Okay. We have some nice airbags on this thing, nice shot, big 4-lane.
Oh, yeah.
So first things first, let's get the rear end located with the air deflated. Okay. And once that's located, we'll weld a pipe down to the axle so it can't go anywhere. Okay. Drop it down a little bit. You know, this thing's gonna have a big 40-inch tire, but he's also wanting to tow his camper with this thing too. So we can't just go crazy and just make it way off the ground. We want this thing to have a low stance and also be able to air this thing up and get it way off the ground and just be really aggressive. Get it bolted up real quick and point it at it. You know, try to get it 0 degrees here. Pretty close.
These old Suburbans are unique. You don't see a lot of them on the road anymore. Everybody wants a short wheelbase, you know, fleet side, but not too many people build these Suburbans. That in itself's pretty cool. I mean, think about during the flood, how many people would have loved to have one of these and put all your stuff in it and not get nothing wet. I mean, it's got multiple uses for something like this. I'm actually looking forward to building it.
Scoot it back a little bit. Let's see what you got from center to here.
20 1/4?
That's on the money, 20 1/4. So we got everything 100% level, 100% true, square. The rear end is located exactly where this thing needs to be. So now we can start building our 4-link from the axle all the way up to the frame. Man, we can run a string line.
I think I can shoot one straight all the way back right underneath the axle.
Let's just drop this thing down. Then we can hold a string line here to the center of the axle and get it parallel with the frame. Then we measure it right down here to the center of the string. And we know center to here where our measurement's at. Let me hold this real quick. Go down, Tim. A lot more of the front axle is to get it perfectly level with the back. So when you let all the air out of the suspension, this truck still sits level, even though there's, you know, no air in it. And then you air it up from there. Then you got a perfectly level truck as it's going down the road.
Like a kickstart to Harley over here.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah, everything. Both axles are right where they need to be.
Man, perfectly centered, perfectly level, and at the perfect height with everything all bottomed out. We can get busy building.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
We've lined up the front and rear axles on this 1971 Suburban for our custom lift. And now we can get to building it.
You know, one of the major pieces of a custom lift like this is the hanger. The hanger needs to be super strong, and it serves many purposes of locating where the pivot points are in the suspension so everything articulates and flows together, rides right, doesn't bind the drive shaft up. There's a lot of importance in locating the hanger in the right place, and the distance in between the two pivot points, you know, that reacts, you know, driving on the road 90 miles an hour versus off-road. You know, there's a lot of little intricacies in building a hanger like this, and you know, you gotta add some style to it too and make it cool. You know, next step is just go in and burn the hanger pieces out. What up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Here we go, man. So I need to build these hangers. So make these at 1/4 inch so they're super strong.
and we'll box it all in.
I got it. So I took this, drew my box, got my measurements. Now it's time for the computer to do its thing. Okay, now I'm just clean up these rough edges, punch these holes out, and take it over to Bill.
Okay, so I got the base of the hanger Jesse just brought back over. So I'm gonna go ahead and mock everything up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my plates to box everything in to give it the strength. It's real early in life my grandfather had given me. Then I went to taking stuff apart, like everything. I remember my mom bought me an RC car. For the world of me, I thought, I'll just put a vacuum cleaner motor on it and it'll work. That never went back together. The vacuum or the car. So from basically being young to taking things apart to being older now to taking bigger things apart, some things just don't change. Alright, so now that I got these two pieces on the side right here, I'm gonna go ahead and weld all on the inside right here. So that way to be as strong as possible, I have a weld on the inside and a weld on the outside. Okay, so basically right now I made some gussets right here. This is pretty much the last piece to be able to mount this on where it's solid. Alright, so got all these welded up, all the gussets done. So this is ready to go up underneath the truck and we'll just keep going. We got our hangers made. You know, the next step on getting this bad boy all the way up and down is building the 4-link from the hangers all the way back to the rear end. We're making our 4-link bars, so we want everything 100% true, square, both sides. So what we're going to do is make a little parts to be exactly the same length. So when we mock up one side, we're going to use the bars to mock up the other side. So our bracketry, everything is 100% true and identical. Okay, so I got the link bars welded up, everything's cleaned off of them. Now it's time to go ahead and bolt them up, get them on the truck.
We got our bars 100% true with each other off our jig. By using the 4-link bar, that tells us exactly where our mounts are. So everything else is 100% square. So that lines all the bars, all the brackets, everything up 100%. Now all we got to do is tack it on and keep rolling.
See, I got both the upper and lower link bars on. Everything looks parallel. Everything's bolted up. Like the way it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rear now.
The 7th wheel hitch is back from powder coat on the 2006 Kodiak. We're just missing the 7th wheel and tire. And then this extra large build and be ready to go home.
Hey, Val. One wheel. One tire, mounted balance, ready to go.
How'd you do that?
Very carefully. Yeah, called in a few favors, but we got what we needed, so.
All right.
Heads up, it's heavy.
All right.
Going from point A to point B is not always a straight line. You know, there's always obstacles, and, you know, we just have to find the part, because when they come in and say, hey, Max, I need the part, that's what I do. I find the part. See how much bigger than you are.
It's almost as big as me.
Always loved Kodiaks. It goes all the way back to 2006 when I had my own. You know, I love driving that thing. I love just the girth of the truck and just being different from everyone else. So when this truck showed up, showing its age, I knew exactly what to do to make this thing 100% right. What's up, Vinny?
What's up, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Beautiful day to get a Kodiak back, huh?
Yes, sir. I've been waiting. I can't wait.
I know, man. I'm really excited. Man, you came in, this thing, it was hurt.
Yeah, it needed help. It's an iconic truck, but it needed a facelift. That's why we brought it to you. Purchased the Kodiak about 6 years ago. We tried to do a little stuff ourselves to get it to ride better and look a little help.
I ran into a guy at a show in Arizona who told me to take it to Texas. That's all he said, take it to Texas. And we hauled ass out here.
That big truck just commands attention when it drives up. Maybe a little unwanted attention in some areas.
Attention in the wrong spots. Put it that way, yes, sir.
Man, we addressed all those things. We got this thing looking good, riding good.
I just can't wait. Let's do it.
Man, I'm ready too, man. Jamie, come on with it.
Oh my God, Bill. No way. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Yeah, the headlights, the grill. That is bad. I love it. It don't look old anymore.
No.
Oh my gosh. Woo. That looks like a totally different truck. I don't even know where to start.
Hey, I told you we got you, man.
I know. Hey, I believe you, but now I really believe you. That's crazy. Oh my God, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Woohoo. That's so cool. Oh man, it's over the top.
What you think?
I like it.
What up, man?
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what to say. Takes my breath away. It's awesome.
Benny, you see this thing pull up, it commands attention.
Yes, sir.
Right? From the new headlights, stretch bumper, new grill, running boards on this thing, fresh coat of paint all the way through it.
All manuals are sick.
Drop low to the ground.
Yeah.
Totally changes the whole stance.
I don't even know enough words to say how excited I am. It's sick.
Man, I appreciate that. I think so too, man. I mean, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Oh, yeah.
It looks cool, man.
Yeah,
cool
it's cool.
truck.
Absolutely.
I got one more surprise for you.
Oh, okay.
Check it out.
All right. Oh, man, Bill. That's awesome.
I know you wanted something back here to show off your other wheel, and, you never know. You might have a flat, right?
1,200-mile drive. I want to make sure I'm safe. Don't want to take no chances.
That's it, man.
So this is the first 7th wheel I've seen. This man Bill had a great idea how to recess it in the hitch, go ahead and tie it in the toolbox, make it kind of look like it's floating. Man, it came out awesome.
Good job. You guys killed it. Nice.
Appreciate it, man. I love when we get these trucks in the shop, bringing them back to life, making an older truck look brand new. Doesn't get better than that. The 4-link is done on the 1971 Suburban's custom lift. So now we can get to building the bag mounts, the point off of which the airbags will attach. Turn it all the way one way and then back to where you're at, and then all the way the other way and back to where you're at. One last thing we got to do before we build the lower bag mounts is our steering. So we need to build our steering cross-link and have all that, the steering and the lower bag mount, and plenty of room for the bag itself. So last thing we want to do is build this thing again.
Okay, so we got the steering, everything's hooked up, everything looks pretty good, everything moves freely. So it looks like we have enough space for the bag bracket right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start making these right now. All right, so my process is doing a bunch of bag mounts. Basically, my first thing is I'm gonna get all my material cut to length I'm gonna need, and I always cut a little over because you're gonna trim back and cope everything. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking off little bit by little bit until it fits, and to make sure that the bends are all in the same place, they're all coped on the axle the same height, and everything's even underneath the back plate. It's a lot of cutting, grinding, coping, but once it's in, it's in.
Man, Jamie, it looks really, really good. We got a nice foundation. Now we can really get down to business and really start letting the creativity and the fabrication all come together and make something really cool. The owner of the Suburban wants to be able to haul a trailer with the lower bag mount to the frame to hold all that trailer weight. I just made a quick little template from the other side, my center punch holes, so we can duplicate this side so everything's 100% same. Once we had the center punches on both sides, we can drill our holes and then bolt our upper bag mounts right to the frame, and then build our bag mounts right down to the back. Jamie's rolling some pipe, then we're gonna chop it up and then get it fitting.
Okay, so you can see, basically I'm running these pipes in at the same time. Each one I do the same way, so I have the same bend right in here. If I was just to hit the button down, it would be all kinked, and if I just did one, then did the other one, it wouldn't be any good. So this is just the way to do it properly, is go ahead and just do each one. Every time I drop the machine down, I'll run another piece of suit to make a nice circle on them. So you just gotta do it over and over again. Patience, slow and steady wins the race.
All right, so basically, I'm trying to make a perfect circle so I can cut this and use each side for each one of these to be the same radius to the bag mount. So when you do look at it, it's going to be perfectly the same. It's really important, you know, for it to look right, because otherwise it's really going to draw your eye if it doesn't flow with everything else. Not only does it need to look right truck, because all the air is on this bag, so this is going to be basically holding up this axle. So the structure is going to be there. The flow is going to look like it was made like this. So people that know about custom cars, welders, fabricators are definitely going to notice how much fabrication time went into something like this, putting this together. It's something I really look for and appreciate when I see it in other builds.
The cool thing about this, you know, you can get lifts done anywhere, but none of them look like this. I mean, this is our cool little signature stamp on this thing is, you know, not only riding good, handling good, but to have the styling of the bent pipe. You know, that's one thing that sets this thing apart from all the others on the road.
Hey, what's up, buddy? It's Max over at Extensive. One of the toughest things about this job is managing all the builds going on at the same time. I'm in kind of a bind and I need some help. If you're not highly organized, it'll pile up on you and you will crash and burn. My love for cars came at a young age. When I was young, I got magazines that had all the custom cars in them, and I just thought that was the coolest thing, that they always cut them up and, you know, change stuff, and I was always about that. I've been in the automotive industry for probably, and then got into the custom car game, and I got the opportunity to come down here. So picked up a family, moved to Texas, and the rest has just been great. Yeah, man, no, I really appreciate it, man. You're helping me out a ton. What I like about working at Extensive is the camaraderie of everybody that works here. We're all here to build cool stuff. We're all on the same agenda, and the energy here is really, really cool. It's a fast-paced shop, but I'm a fast-paced kind of guy, so we mesh really well.
Now that the custom lift's back from powder coat and installed on the 71 Suburban, John can take all the handmade pieces and start wrapping.
You know, looking at this door panel, everything's working out really good. I got it nice and deep inside the pocket. I got one more little trouble spot to work out. We'll be home free. All right. Looks like luck might be on our side today. Next thing we gotta do, finish wrapping that around. Then we'll go over everything, hit it with some heat, get it warmed up. This thing's gonna look beautiful. Put a little bit of vinyl down on the bottom of that hole, and then put it on.
You know, with over 10 feet of cabin space, John and his team have a lot of wrapping and installing to do. It's just like Christmas. Headliner, seats, new audio. Well, at least for now. I know when Ronald sees this truck, he's going to be blown away. I mean, it's just such a huge transformation. What's happening, Ron?
What's going on, Bill?
Long trip, huh?
It was a long trip, man, all the way in from Maryland.
Man, it's good to have you down. It's good to, I guess, to finally meet you in person.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm excited to see this truck. Flew out here to Extensive today, and I've really been anxious to see this truck, and all my friends know I'm driving everybody crazy. So I'm really excited to get in this thing and just drive it as much as possible.
Ron, I know, you know, bought the truck on the internet, right?
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't really quite what you wanted, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
So that's why we're here.
That's right, man. It needs some loving.
You wanted something that rode really nice and looked cool when you're pulling your travel trailer.
I wanted it better than it was.
It's more than a little better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Way more than a little better.
I'm sure it is. I can't stand it right now, man. You just, I'm ready.
Let's check it out.
Let's bring her out. Yes, sir. Look at this.
What you think, man? Mean coming at you, doesn't it?
Mean ain't the word for it. Look at this thing. This is beautiful. Yeah. Woo. Nice. She is sitting on those tires, man. That is insane. Oh my God.
She looks a little different, doesn't she?
She looks a whole lot different. Man, I am slammed. This is everything that I imagined. I mean, this is just phenomenal, man.
You haven't seen another 3-door looking like this.
Never, no. You can go online and never find one like this.
That's right.
This is it.
I'd cruise that one for sure.
Definitely.
That's a highway runner.
Oh, I can't wait, man. We're going to use it. It's not going to sit in a parking lot somewhere. This is going to be on the road, and it's going to be going
where it needs to be.
And everybody's going to be looking. It's going to be turning heads, man.
You know, the first thing you see of the wheels and tires and that big suspension underneath of it. Got to work building you a cool custom 4 links front and rear.
The size of all that tubing, I mean, it's incredible. The strength you put underneath there. I see it. I mean, you can't miss it. It's beautiful. I love the wheels. Perfect choice, man.
Yeah, man, that thing looks really, really good. I mean, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Oh, yeah,
for
the
sure.
stance, the size. You know, when you see it coming at you, it says, get out the way. You know,
That's right. Yeah, man, the stance on it is killer. It's mean.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah, man, it's everything I wanted. I love it.
pretty okay.
That's pretty okay.
John, let's let him check out the inside.
All right, let's check this out.
Oh, look at this, man. Oh, God, you killed it.
You know, John and the boys always kill it on interiors. Always.
I know that's right, man.
Yeah, so we just went through everything, you know, from top to bottom. New carpet, redid the seats.
That's right.
Redid the door panels. We got all that brown in there. We pulled the pleats into the doors to match the seats. We went ahead and did the headliner, put some lights up in there so you got some mood lighting when you're cruising down the road.
There you go.
New radio in the dash, new system all the way around, subwoofer enclosure in the back. Everybody will hear you coming too, so.
I don't see me coming before they hear me.
That's questionable.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys blew it out of the water. This is phenomenal, man. I mean, it's going to go a step further because it's coming back to you, and you're going to do some more work to it. But for right now, this is headed in the right direction.
Ron, getting projects like this in, it just really, it wakes everybody up, you know, just it reignites everybody's fire, gets that passion going again, and just the creativity just really starts flowing, obviously.
Yeah. You know, this is my first project car, and I'm hooked, man. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. It's contagious, but I mean, I want to see this thing go as far as I can take it.
Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, however you want to do it.
I'm stoked.
I know you can say Phase 1 was a complete success. All right, Ronald, enjoy this truck. I'm sure I'll be seeing you real soon for Phase 2, so come on with it.